Welcome back to Dunya today. I'm joined here by Ms. Ann Patterson, U.S. Ambassador to Pakistan. There were also rumors that the U.S. government is acquiring land through a lease agreement with Punjab government and in Sihala.
With where?
By leasing the land from Punjab government in Sihala and also in Khushab. Now, people point out in both places Pakistan has nuclear establishments, so they're very worried why the land is being acquired.
We didn't try and acquire land in Sihala. What we did, I think, in my recollection, I'd have to check on this, was ask the Punjab police if we could help train people there. We do use a facility near Islamabad. I'm not exactly where it is, sure where it is to train. We have a very robust sort of police training program, and we've been working on this facility for something like 9 years. And is it near the nuclear facilities? Believe me, that's not a factor. We look for facilities to train people. And in Peshawar, we've been in contact with, it's no secret, again, that we've been trying to acquire land for a new consulate in Peshawar. Because, again, we have a very old facility and a very rundown facility, and we have a lot of people there. And we've been in discussions with various private landowners there.
So that's why you are in negotiation to purchase a local hotel in Peshawar?
Well, we've certainly talked to the owner of that hotel. Again, we've been utterly transparent about that. It's a commercial deal, so I wouldn't want to get into the details. But we've also been in touch with other landowners in Peshawar, I think.
And this land lease in Sihala, you said there's no land lease in Sihala?
No, there's no lease in Sihala.
And what about Khushab?
Khushab?
Khushab.
I'm utterly
which is the Kalabagh area.
I'm utterly unaware of that.
Okay, let's move on.
Utterly unaware of that.
You said about the visas. You said about there's a lot of controversy about the certain U.S. NGOs, think tank people, and media persons not getting the visas. Right. But the equal complaints on the Pakistani side that Pakistani students and the Pakistani businessmen face tremendous difficulties in terms of getting the U.S. visas, which is actually eroding the whole cultural, educational link and the business links between U.S.
Yes. No, and that's a serious problem. I'd be the first to admit that I wish we had a more what's the right word, a more accelerated visa process. But again, this is nothing unique to Pakistan. When I've been ambassador in several other countries too, and this is a constant issue, is the U.S. visa process, because frankly it's very difficult to get U.S. visas worldwide. Now here, actually, our refusal rate, which runs around 36 and 37%, is a lot less than many other countries.
It's 37%.
37%.
Just 37%.
Because
but the public perception is that your visa rejection is something like 90%.
But again, the public perception is incorrect. The public perception is wrong, and we're trying now to expand this to make it physically easier by opening up business visas in Karachi, because obviously the business community complained that they had to travel to Islamabad, and if you're a busy executive, that's a lot of hassle that you don't need. So we're going to resume business visas in Karachi, 100 a week by the 1st of November to try and facilitate this process. And we have speeded up the process very considerably in recent years, but yes, I'd be the first to say it's not fast enough.
Can anything be really done about it?
Well, yes, you can, and I think we have done things about it, and I think in recent months, again, under the Obama administration, they were very mindful of the shall we say, the public relations impact of this. And it's not just the public relations. I get letters from students and from schools and we have a doctors association, Pakistani Doctors Association in the United States, that says that Pakistani interns and medical students are losing out on opportunities in the U.S. But we can accelerate the process, and believe me, the Obama administration is working on that.
If Ms. Patterson, if you let me, I'll actually tell you a personal thing. I was a student at Columbia University. I came to London School of Economics to do a double major. Kept my last semester off from Columbia. I was in touch with the Dean of the Columbia. I had a multiple entry US visa to go back, which was valid. I went to the US, went to the Columbia University, got my paper signed from the Dean of the University, came back to London, went to the consulate, and they said, we can't give you the student visa because we have to get a security clearance from Homeland Security about you. And I said, if I just came back from New York 2 days ago, and if I was a security risk, I was in New York, came for the student visa, they're not giving me the student visa. They didn't give me the student visa. And then they'll let me wait for 3 months. I had to complete my Columbia degree, but transferring the credits from LSE to Columbia. Couldn't go back.
And that's a terrible shame. And we need to do everything we can on our, again, I can tell you the process has gotten marginally better. And I don't think what happened to you would happen again, but I'm not entirely sure. But we have made considerable improvements, and we only have the point you made is an utterly fair one, that what this does is break down the ties between the two countries. And now we have, our estimate is something like 3,000 Pakistani students in the United States. There should be thousands, tens of thousands of Pakistani students in the United States, because this is essentially an English-speaking country. And they go and they do extremely well in U.S. universities. Anyway, it's a problem we're very mindful of. It's a problem we're trying to work on. And we're trying to accelerate the process. But again, Pakistan is not unique in this respect. It's an issue all over the world.
Okay, there's another issue, a really burning issue, you must be, the Kerry-Lugar legislation and the distribution of the aid that's going to come under the Kerry-Lugar legislation. And you yourself recently said, just a few days ago, that the aid will go to national, provincial, and the local governments. The question is it going to go directly to the provincial and the local governments, or you will have some kind of counseling with the government of Pakistan for that?
Well, it has to go through the federal government, and that's true in every country. But we are going to try and work with the provincial governments, and we've been in contact with them because the idea of our policy, we're trying to focus on areas of extreme poverty and areas that are a particular risk for extremism. For instance, southern Punjab. And we've had lots of contact with the government of Punjab. We've had lots of contact with local officials trying to develop assistance projects down there. But I think your broader question is how much is going through the government and how much is going through contractors. And let me give you an example. We've got $400 million, which is the first stage of our first stage of our pledge that we're going to disperse before the end of our fiscal year, the end of this month. $175 million will basically go in cash to the government, and $75 million in the Benazir Fund, some to the Higher Education Commission, and some to the IDPs. Those are cash transfers. Those go directly to the government, and the rest will go into projects. So it will be about 50-50.
But you know what? There was another aspect to my question. You know, some people wonder that if you give the aid directly to provincial governments, local governments, and the NGOs, in a way you're undermining the sovereignty of the central government in Pakistan.
Well, we want to build up the federal government and frankly the provincial and the local governments too, and we want the public to look to the government for services. But there's also the question of absorptive capacity, and we gave over $800 million in a cash transfer to the previous government before the state of emergency. And it's very difficult to determine where that money has gone. But that's why we try and balance this. We do some to the federal government, we'll do some in projects, and we'll do some probably through international institutions like the UN and the World Bank. Much of our funding during the IDP crisis went through the UN agencies who had infrastructure to handle the crisis, and also through NGOs.
When Jack Lew, the Deputy Secretary of State went back for resources and management, he did some press briefing or press statement, and the impression that was in this country, which made the headlines, was that somehow or the other the Obama administration does not trust the Pakistan People's Party's government. They're not prepared to hand over the money to them, and that is why they're dispersing the money indirectly.
No, that's just not true. I mean, the Benazir Fund, frankly, is an enormously creative and frankly very well managed fund, and we're about ready to put $75 million in it. And it's designed in a way that not only gets money in the hands of poor people, it goes to female heads of household. So there are certainly government institutions like the Benazir Fund or the Higher Education Commission or the Pakistan Poverty Alleviation Fund that have enormous confidence in the international community, and we won't be the only donors. I mean, in other words, there's going to be a lot of support in the international community to provide funds through these organizations.
Let me stop you for a break. We're joined here by Ambassador Ann Patterson, the U.S. Ambassador to Pakistan. We continue our discussion after the break.